Hello, friends. We're going to talk today about why SAKUNA was good, and I'm happy that I bought it. So, SAKUNA is half farming simulator specifically focused on rice, and the other half is the side-scrolling combat that you're probably seeing on the screen right now. It is a little, I described it as like easy Metroid. It is different. I also described it as Trine, and then a Trine player that I recommended it to disagreed with me. It's very kinetic. I'll get into that in a little bit. This is the farming simulator half. Why you might like it. The gameplay, it was simple. It was addictive. If you don't like farming simulators, then, that's kind of a basic premise that I'm going to need from you, at least for this half, because half of it is a very pleasant farming simulator. You can see the rice paddy there and everything. And then the other half is, I think anybody would get into it. It's kind of like a brawler, 2D, back and forth, things like that. You have your scarf is magical, and you can kind of Spider-Man around, like cling to things and shoot yourself, get momentum and fling yourself across something. The visuals they were engaging, they were pleasant. All the maps, had a little bit of personality, and it kind of encouraged you to alertly, or at least somewhat mindfully relax. Like, you kind of it's an easy thing to get into a zone with, and it's just pleasant. And the visuals are pleasant. You feel like you're doing something good. Pretty games, are a dime a dozen, but this felt pretty distinctive and charming. It wasn't revolutionary, but it was definitely lovingly crafted. Another reason Sakura is great is characters were simple, but they were kind of endearing. The plot has like stakes. It matters on a personal level, and it matters, in the fate of the world. So it's an easy, good plot to get into, and it kind of has that farming simulator angle to it, where you're just helping your friends, you're growing friendships. It's I'm gonna say pleasant a lot, but that is, if I had one word to describe Sakuna, it's just nice fun. Farming simulators are fun, as I mentioned. If you don't take this for granted, at least, for a few games, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon 64, then you might not like this, honestly. But, and then also, if you like any Metroid, Castlevania, Trine, it is simpler. It's more kind of momentum and instinctive. It's kinetic, where you're kind of sensing arcs and how much oomph you have in an attack. It's good to unwind. The only thing is that some of these tasks, and you can automate them, are a little repetitive. It's like placing seedlings, grinding the whole. I learned a lot about planting rice, but a lot of them are kind of repetitive, like, planting seeds like this. It's not super fun, but I did learn a lot about planting rice and how they grow, and I did get better at it as you go. So the way it works is that your character in the side-scroller is a character that can level up and get unlocks, but the level up and the unlocks are kind of related to your rice crops. And these rice crops, they kind of have like perfect genetic memory, where anything good that you ever do to this rice field will be carried through, and you basically just level up that way. You level up with like the taste of the rice, the aroma, how sticky it is, and all of these are influenced by how you interact with the rice as you're farming it. But you basically just kind of like gently control how your character levels up through that. And it's interesting. I would say for games that like have two, like Fire Emblem, Three Houses, where games have like two different modes of play, or sometimes even more, where you're like walking around and just taking care of things, and then you're in a fight. This one does it very unjarringly. They do a good job. It never feels like I'm playing two separate games. Like Fire Emblem Three Houses definitely felt like that sometimes. The fighting towards the end gets a little repetitive, but only because, well, without spoilers, I ended up very overleveled by the end, and just kind of like grinding everything up. But, this is a small studio. This is a small German studio, despite really nailing a lot of Eastern aesthetics in games and storytelling. I'm pretty sure they're a German studio. But, it had little bugs. I clipped through walls a few times, but it is very polished and it's very unique. And the nice thing is that there's a small community at this point. The studio is small, the fan base is small. So, like, I would Google things, and, like, all the forums would be like, yeah, we think it's this or this. We're not really sure. Because the studio is small. No one's, like, data mined this game yet. the studio is original. It does things in its own way. It's not like other games. So people get stuck in this game and they're like, what should I do? And then, you can find an answer, but the community is still small enough that we're still kind of guessing, which is pretty neat. Let's see, what else do I have? I guess that's it. I actually clipped together about 10 minutes of footage, but I'm going to shorten it down to, I have about 6 minutes of commentary now, just to make it really tight. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please. I'm getting really good at YouTube, and it's time people realized it. No, thank you for listening. See you next time.